Hello, hello. It is Friday and I am talking clarity yet again, right? This is the first C. It is in my Rescue Yourself method model, right? When we're heroes in training, we need to know the process, the path, right? So we can, because we all get to rescue ourselves. So number one is clarity, okay? Just stepping back, zooming out a little bit: clarity, control, confidence, curiosity, and creativity. These are going to be the 5 C's that you keep circling through, and it's going to put you on an upward spiral. So let's just really zoom out, because this is the first piece of clarity. We've talked about all week awareness. Where am I? What am I feeling? What do I want? And really starting to get these inklings of, all right, what would I need to do to get from this point A to point B? So I want to quickly just talk about awareness. Where are the 3 pieces that you really get clarity in your life? So number one, like I said, is this zoomed out, this 30,000 foot view, and you're going to want to know, what does life look like right now, right? And what do I generally want? Like, what am I, and to do that, really, it's like, what am I missing now? Okay, so this is kind of like a 2-part step. What am I missing, or what do I wake up longing for? What do I find myself in moments of the day kind of saying, oh, I wish I had? Is it more energy, more time, a better relationship with my kids or with my spouse? Do I wish I was doing something different at work? Do I wish I was starting my own business? Am I showing up in my own business the way that I want to, right? It's just getting a lay of the land, okay? Saying what's out there, here's what I would love to have. This is the main vision. For me, I'll give you an example, okay? Time freedom, financial freedom. I wanna be able to have more fun. There's something in my life that, as an achiever, and I've always had this nose to the grindstone feeling, and part of what constructive living has really done for me, right, living this hero method model, has been to remind me that when that fun, joy, all of the good stuff is actually a stronger driver for me, because I show up every day without that feeling of exhaustion and burnout, and there's a much higher level that I reach when I show up this way. So for me, transitioning into that is also this reminder that in my zoomed out big picture, I am having fun. I am getting to take time to do things that fill me up, that really make my heart happy, because then I get to show up in everybody else's life and do the same for them. So what does this look like for you? What do you want? That's number one, zoomed out vision, okay? The next step is to identify. We get clarity, zoomed out, clarity, zoomed in. So the next step would really be to identify, if I were to reverse engineer it and say, all right, if this is where I see, point B, now I know where I am on the map. So what would I need to do, like, daily, right? You could start say, okay, if that's the 5-year plan, or I want to get there in 1 year, right? You get to decide for you what that timeline looks like. And then you get to break it down and say, all right, so in 12 months, maybe you look at things in quarters, you want to look at things in months. How does your life kind of work? But you want to kind of break it down into chunks so that you have some way to measure it, some way to start taking action. So you have your year planned. So the zoomed in then is, it zooms in and zooms in and zooms in. So if I say, okay, in the next 3 months, I want this to happen, because it's going to I already know how it's going to set me up in the future. What do I need to do today? And those things are really like these big 3, these top things. I wouldn't do a lot more than 3, because you really want you want to be able to check them off. You want to be able to do them, and they must be completable. Like, you've got to be able to finish it in one sitting, one day, right? It's not something that would take many steps to do, because then it needs to be broken down further. An example, I want to learn how to play the piano. So, the big step is 1 year, I'd like to, maybe I have a specific piece that I want to be able to play in a year. I said, all right, so what do I need to do? I need to have the foundational knowledge. So I need to either practice if I already know how, or I need to hire somebody, right? So if I break that down each day, right, it would literally be practice for 10 minutes, right? That's something I can do. Practice for 15 minutes, check it off. Go to my weekly, my weekly plan might be, meet with my piano teacher every week. Almost always getting the support that we need is a crucial piece in being able to actually create the goals that we want in the time that we want. So, okay, so that's what that looks like. It wouldn't be something like, say you're planning a vacation, right? It wouldn't be, today's goal wouldn't necessarily be plan the vacation, right? I'm not spending one day planning my vacation. I might first say, all right, narrow the destination down, have 3 places by the end of the day that I would like to visit. The next day, the next week, however this looks in your schedule, might be, all right, narrow down to 1, and what are the top, and then just create a list of 10 things that I would like to do in this place, what seem exciting. The next one might be to book something, right? Book 3 things I would like to do on this vacation with my family. And just move on it like that, so they're not things that feel like you cannot complete them. If it feels that big, again, break it down into something smaller that you're actually going to check off that day, because it's really going to help you build confidence. One, because every time you say you're doing something, you're doing it. That's setting the bar, meeting it. That's building confidence. And it's also building your momentum, right? We feel motivated when we have the energy, when we see progress happening. So offer this to yourself by doing these small steps. The third piece under the awareness, the clarity, is clarity of self. All right. And I actually recommend almost doing this before you do the zoom in, the daily action type things, because when I know, when I feel more certain, right, connecting with who I am, I'm also more willing to see where I'm getting in my own way. What are my roadblocks, right? If I have a business, do I feel like if I hired somebody to help me, a consultant or a coach, or did a course, that it would somehow mean something about me, right? Do I feel like it would mean I would think I'm not as smart, I'm not good enough? What am I telling myself, right? I need to really be aware of my belief systems, because what you believe matters, because what you believe affects how you show up in the world. It affects what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're willing to, really accomplish in any given moment, what you're willing to put out there and put yourself out on the line. So creating just this, taking time to start to create an honest relationship with yourself. Sensitivity, right? A lot of this is due to this. We overgive meaning to, somebody said something about my hair or my ability to do something, right? Instead of just saying, well, it's that person's opinion, right? What we do is we take it and we internalize it. And then I say, oh, if somebody said, you mentioned that I have a lot of gray hair or something, right? That if I didn't feel comfortable with it, if I didn't have this kind of conversation with myself beforehand, I might think, gosh, I feel old, or I don't feel as beautiful, or, whatever else the comment may have kind of hidden within it, right? Whether the person intended it or not. Once it filters through me, right, I get to give it meaning, or I get to let it go and mean nothing, right? It can be about the other person, and it doesn't need to be about me. So it's so valuable to really spend some time in clarity, also getting clear with yourself, because what you don't know for yourself is up for negotiation with other people. If I don't feel confident with myself as a business owner, that's up for negotiation when I speak with a client. If I don't feel confident with myself as a mother, then that feels up for negotiation, right? Whether it's with another mother, whether it's my children, whether it's with my spouse or my mother or my mother-in-law, right? When somebody says something about the way I parent, if I don't feel like I am living with my values, I'm connected with them, it makes me question them. It makes me think, gosh, maybe I'm not doing as good a job. Oh my gosh, they're right. Yeah, I don't do this. And so that means, right, there again, we're constantly assigning meaning. So really get some clarity there, okay? And right, so then you're gonna have, once you finish in this planning phase, and please invest the time that it takes. For some people, it's going to be faster. For others, it's going to take a little bit more time. But be aware that when you invest in this planning phase, what comes after it, you are offering yourself so much more speed, and not just speed, but efficiency, because it's about quantity and quality, right? You don't just want to be moving, right? It's not just about being busy. You want to be productive. That means you are working towards your goal, that goal needle, right? It's moving. You're seeing yourself on the map, moving towards what you want. And so that is really, really important. And once you create that, all those 3 levels of clarity for yourself, the next step before you go into execution is to actually planning it out, putting it into your schedule. So you drop it into your schedule so you know, right? On Monday, I'm doing this. On Tuesday, I'm doing this. On Wednesday, again, it's having this level of integrity, this level of trust, really, that you're building with yourself that says, all right, I created the vision. Now I know what I need to do. And this is the key piece, right? And I'm going to do it. And so when the voices come up, when the emotions come up along the way, you are prepared, because you don't need to wonder or question whether you need to do something, question if you have the energy to do something, right? You're going to get up and you're going to do it, because this is what you've promised yourself in order to get to this vision. Now, a caveat here, right, is that this is experimentation. This is, anytime we're moving towards a goal, we get to reflect, right? So after you'd create this, you would execute it, and that's your execution phase. And the last part, right, which is for another video, is reflecting really in a healthy way and saying, all right, does this work? But my point is, for this video, is to remember that as you're doing things, if they really consistently don't feel good, you do get to ask yourself, what's not working here? And it doesn't need to be about, I couldn't do it, I'm not good enough, I knew this wouldn't happen. It isn't about the beating yourself up, we're building you up, okay? So what can you offer yourself? What can you observe in your plan? Was it too aggressive? Is it not practical? Or are you finding ways, is the resistance something internal, right? Is it a fear of putting ourselves out there? Is it a fear of really questioning your value? Is it, whatever these internal fears are, it's okay to have them, and we want to hear them, because fear is an information. It's information that we get to use and then ask ourselves, okay, so what is my belief system if this is my fear? All right, if I have a fear of showing up on camera, why? What is it, right? Is it that I'm afraid people are gonna thumbs down me or comment something unpleasant? And what would that mean, right? Like, who cares? Some people don't care, right? And some people feel really a lot of anxiety around this idea of showing up in the sort of permanence of a video. So you get to check in with yourself and tweak, right? Tweak your plan. I just want to remind you, though, that if you find yourself really kind of veering away from it, just check in, because fear so often, it shows up. And guys, the reason we get to rescue ourselves is because we're the ones usually getting in our own way. So it's not always pleasant to hear, but it's really empowering to know that when you want something, you get to offer it to yourself, and there is a way to do it. So if you need help, I'm always here. DM me, hop over to my site, download, book a call, guys, book a call. That's the number one thing I can tell you, right? You can do a lot of the other things, get the free stuff, keep showing up, listening to these videos. They're all gonna help you, but nothing is gonna give you the speed and the ability to really implement in your life like a one-on-one call. They're free, they're exploratory calls, right? So we get to know each other and figure out, how do we get this to work for you? Because that's the exciting part. So book a call in the link below, and I can't wait to get started.